G'day, this is Mike Smith for Sioma Websites, and today we're having a look at a curious thing that happened recently with WordPress. I noticed that I wasn't able to access revisions on a page or a post, whereas previously I had. And so I did a bit of detective work to find out what it was. So this video shows you how to fix that problem and get your revisions back. Okay, now to show you what I mean, I'm going to use a brand new installation of WordPress here on the free WooCommerce storefront theme. So we're just going to use this sample page here and edit it. Okay, so pressing the edit button here. Now the revisions would normally be visible below the edit box, and you should be able to use the screen options here to bring down the options, and revisions should be visible here to select or not select, but it's not visible here. So what's going on? Let's have a look at it. Okay, so what are revisions? Well, WordPress is capable of storing the versions of each page or post going back as long as you like. And in previous versions that seemed to be turned on automatically. But in more recent versions of WordPress it seems to have been removed. But you can put it back in. However, you do need to enter, there's a couple of ways of doing it, but the way that I would prefer to do it is entering this line of code in a file called wp-config. You wouldn't normally be able to find that file unless you get into your website hosting using a file manager. Okay, so in the C panel you would find file manager, and then you would navigate to this wp-config.php file. Then you would edit that, and you'd be looking for a line like this, define WP post revisions. And if that line doesn't exist, that could explain why you're not getting revisions. If it does exist, and if this number here is 0, that means the revisions are turned off as per the instructions here. Okay, false, do not store any revisions except for the one autosave per post. And if the value is -1, then store every revision, and I think that was the default earlier. As you can see, it says that it's default, but in this brand new installation it doesn't exist at all. And then if it's an integer above 0, it will store that many revisions. So what you need to do is get into cPanel, get into File Manager, get into this file, and look for this line, and if it doesn't exist, type it in, and then make sure this is a positive number, or -1. -1 means store all revisions, and say for example 3 would mean that it stores the last 3 revisions. Now I'm going to set mine to -1 because I do want to store all revisions. Then save it like that, and then we should be good to go, and we'll test that in a moment. Okay, so we've just saved this file with the new value here, and now what we need to do is force WordPress to reload this wp-config file. So let's just try a few things and see if that's enough. Well, first what we'll do is we'll just refresh to this edit page and see if that works. Bring the screen options down. Oh yes, that's enough. Okay, so revisions are there now, and it has remembered the previous 2 versions of this file. So it will only store revisions from the time that you turn revisions on. So that's something to bear in mind. And this may not be visible until you actually make a change for the first time to a file. So that may also be a little bit confusing. Okay, so that's all there is to it. Just recapping, if we're looking for revisions here and this box is not there, the instructions are here in the wordpress.org codex under revisions. See there, revisions there, and then we need to get into cPanel via File Manager, to edit this WP config file, and we're looking for this line. If it doesn't exist, we have to type it in. If it does exist but with the wrong value, then we change that. -1 is store all, or any positive integer is store that many. Okay, and that's it. Thanks very much for watching.